YouTube, what's up everybody? Today you guys are capturing some big brain strategies, and I'm telling you right now, if you start implementing strategies into your game instead of just running around like a madman, your average kills per match and per round are going to skyrocket. So we're going to start off with the Advanced Operator Guide, and it's mainly going to be based around strategies. This time it's going to be around mute. So no more frittering, let's get into it. First map and first strategy is on Bank Basement. This is best for bank. I'm just going to run through the map real quick, do my setup, and then I'll explain exactly how you should play it. So now let's go over the strategy. So we start off by running up these stairs and placing this one here. This is going to prevent anyone from actually getting to be able to put their drones into sight, which is very important. And we'll also get into how we're going to play this in a second. Second one's right here. This one's going to play off that other one, and I'll tell you guys that one in a second. But we go through the setup and then we walk over here, and we want to set one right here. Now this one's really good to be able to block it off, and you have to put it exactly where I put it, like right on this line right here. Because one, they won't be able to see it from right here, which is really good. They won't be able to actually see it unless if they come in, which they'll die from the person that's playing behind here. And two, you don't want to put it up here unless if you have a smoke playing this position. If you have a smoke playing aggro right here, you could place a mute jammer right here. And if you have the smoke playing here with a shield and everything, they'll be able to lock this area down. But if you don't, then no one's going to lock that down. So keep with that right there. And then the last one here is just outside in this dirt tunnel here. You want to tuck it in this corner. This makes it so for them to actually have to get a drone through here, they will have to cross someone's line of sight, which should be right there to actually get your drone jammer. So they'll have to cross your line of sight just to be able to get this jammer, which they won't do. So they won't be able to get any drones in here. As for the rotation holes, those are just things that I like to do once I'm done because I have spare time, because I didn't really spend much on reinforcing. So I feel like doing your duty, as in doing this, is probably a good idea. If they don't need a rotation hole though, don't do it. It's not vital to your actual role, which what you are going to be doing, which is playing this staircase right here. So you're going to play just before you could be spotted, right about there, and you're going to want the shotgun out from this distance. If you do that right when they peek over here, that's a one-shot kill as long as you hit them chest and above. You should be able to get them in one shot. If you don't feel confident in that, just pull out this SMG. It should have a pretty fast time to kill as long as you can control it even somewhat. You'll be good. Now the reason for this one precisely is first, right when the round starts, the drones are all going to be coming out of open and down the stairs, and this will block them from actually getting over. They'll try to jump over it, whatever. It's just going to jam a bunch of drones, deny a lot of intel. Two is, if you guys see, what you might be thinking is, how can't I just come up here and shoot it? Yes, but at this point you will be shown. So as you guys can see, for me to see it, I have to be right here. At the minimum, I have to be right here. So I'm gonna make a big old hole right here. This hole right here for me to be able to see it, or I guess it was kind of right there, but it's fine. If I'm waiting right here and they're focusing on this mute jammer, bang, free kill. That's the number one thing. Two, you got to worry about your flank. So I put this right here. Now the ideology around this is they're going to try to drone up here, and most of the time they're not going to go around and then go back up here. If they do that, then oh well, you've been a little bit compromised. But usually they'll try to go in here, and then if they see this is jammed, they're going to try to make it up to this wall, because this is going to be barricaded and this is going to be reinforced, and they're going to come up here and shoot this. Now once you see or hear that this mute jammer has been shot, you know one thing: turn. Okay, you gotta turn, and you'll be able to easily trade this kill, because they should not know that you're here if you haven't killed anyone right here yet. But this is actually the freest strategy that you're gonna see all of today. And then the other two over there, those are just for your teammates to play. Very simple. You want someone to be playing behind this storage right here, the CCTV rack right here, preferably like a Wamai with a shield, just kind of pixel angling this. That would be perfect. Another option is just to have your smoke play here. If you see someone, they could shoot them and then throw their smoke and make sure this mute jammer doesn't get destroyed. If this mute's here and this mute's here, that creates for a super overpowered setup in server and a super overpowered setup up on this area. So the last area your team has to worry about is these hatches right here. So as long as you guys bring a Kaid or something along that line, you should be all right with this strategy. Now we're heading on down to Oregon, and we're going to be starting in the basement, and I have another strategy for you guys up top as well, because this site has two really good spots that you guys could defend, which is bottom and top, and those are ideal for most people. So we're going to start off with setting our drones. One thing that you got to keep in mind whenever we're doing this on Oregon, if the mute jammer is set on a surface, it will not, the mute jammer goes in a dome, like an overhead dome. Anything under, there's not a dome under, it's only, basically think of it as like an igloo. It's like the base and then a dome. So for example, if you were to just set this thing right here, all this is going to do is defend anything here and up. So it's pretty useless unless if you are able to cover a hatch or cover vertical. So with that being said, let's head into the strategy. So the first thing we want to do is take advantage of these washer and dryers, because this is literally the most common thing to do with mute here, but still a lot of people don't know it. So the first thing you want to do is come over here and set this thing up on the edge. This is about as far as you can get it, and this will cover the entire hatch, everything other than just right there, which they can't even get really. The next one is right here. This one is going to cover, if you set it right, center dab right here, this will cover everything above. We're trying to cover above, so this table is just the perfect amount to get above here. If this was any lower, it probably wouldn't work as effectively. But what we're doing here is we're going to go ahead and reinforce this hatch as well. Hopefully someone does that for you on your team, but if they don't, just go ahead and reinforce this. This will be in turn covered by your mute jammer right here. And where we set this one, this is going to cover basically from, I think it's right here over. So it's pretty much impossible to slip your drone through this little crack right here. So you actually will block off this room as well as blocking off the hatch right here. So that's the first thing we're going to do. Then we're going to run over here and we're going to try to cut off this half of the map and basically make it so the only place they can drone from is freezer. So you have two choices with this. You could either set a drone or a mute here or a mute here. And if you have a teammate playing with a shield right here, the best spot could be potentially putting it actually inside here. But I prefer to always put it right on this corner right here, because if you put it on this corner, they could actually still get over here and somehow shoot it if they get close enough to this wall right here. But with this blue crate in the way, they literally can't look through this and find an angle to it. So I like to put it in this corner right here, which will make it literally impossible. We also want to put it, pretty much want to jam yourself as far as you can to the wall, and eventually it'll show up once it does. But there we go, all the way to the wall. Make the antennas point that way, and basically the only way to get this thing would be to literally lay down in the middle of the doorway, which is less than ideal considering someone will be playing pillar on your team. The next one needs to be on this staircase right here. So when we're setting these, we want to think of like, what could they see when they're coming down these stairs? They'll be able to see everything basically here uncontested. So we don't really want to put anything anywhere around, I would say all the way around this whole area. So the best place to do this is one, either at the bottom of the stairs, but I don't want them to get to the bottom of the stairs. So what I would like to do is basically place it right around here, which this right here is a solid setup for Oregon, and it is a setup that is very well known around the entire community. If you watch a mute placement video, you're probably going to find this. I would assume so, because this is a setup that is very noobish, and even though it's noobish, it's actually quite effective. So as for what we're going to do, we're going to be playing this pillar, hopefully. So a better gun to probably bring to this gunfight here is probably the MP5, because the main thing we're trying to do is prevent someone from destroying this mute, and the only way they could do that is by basically peeking over to this corner. So once they shoot this, they're going to be shown to basically this whole pillar, this whole entire pillar right here. So if we stand on either side of these pillars, we should be able to hopefully get the person that destroys a mute. This one's kind of just a bait. This one will never get touched, and then if they don't push any of those, we know that they're going to be coming freezer, and we can easily hop up here with our MP5 and have a nice line of sight. If you're good with the SMG-11, just rock with this, but this is the only place that's not covered with a mute jammer, basically the only place they can get into sight out of the entire map. So just this little area right here, everything else is blocked off. This door is blocked off, this door is blocked off. If they break open this, then they can get a drone through there. This is blocked off entirely, unless if they somehow slip a drone through that door, which is very impossible. Then all you have left is this drone hole right here, which this drone hole is pretty much the only way, because they can get that through construction without going through mute jammers, but they'll just run into this area and you can hopefully shoot them for there. Moving up, we have a quick setup here. So the first thing we want to do right when we spawn in is come over here and reinforce these two walls. For time purposes, I'm not going to do it, but we could just do that and then put a mute jammer here. I'm assuming you're solo. I'm assuming that you don't have a Kaid. If you have a Kaid here, just put the 1 one kite up here, it's better so it won't get destroyed as easy as down here. But we're assuming you don't, so put it right there. We're gonna then come up here, and we're gonna want to put something so it can't get shot from this window. And even if they do get this open by a thatcher or some magical mystery way, when they start sending drones through here, it'll get disrupted by this one right here. So this will be blocked best if you put it right around where I'm putting it right here. See, right about here. So as you guys can see, this thing's gonna hug this wall, and this drop down right here, the only way to see it is by coming all the way over here, and you guys will see where we play, and it's pretty ratty, but it works. And then the next one, we have the same logic here. We could either put one right here for the white stairs. We could put one in the middle of the white stairs, and it would cover the most range, but then again, it's going to get shot the easiest. This one will get shot pretty easy as well. So we're going to come over to this corner, and we're going to set one up right on this corner. Now, the only way to actually shoot this one would be to completely first check this angle. Second, we're going to have a rotation hole right here. Usually, at least in ranked, they like to put this rotation hole. A lot of teams do. So there's one angle, there's two angles, there's three angles, there's four angles, all just to get one mute jammer. Highly unlikely someone goes through those hoops. And then finally, we go through this one. So we're using the same logic. Which one would be easily shot? I could come in here and boom, shoot that one. As an attacker, I could also come in here and boom, shoot that one, but it would be a little bit of a stretch. So we're going to kind of play our odds here and put it right there. Sometimes things aren't perfect, but I mean, usually someone's going to be sitting somewhere to be watching this doorway. Now, as for what we're playing in a little rat spot with high kill potential, round in and round out, and easy accessibility to rotations. This is definitely an anchor role that we're playing here, but that's all mute is pretty much an anchor, and we're using this solely as an area denial type operator, and plus we're actually using it on a wall here as well. If for whatever reason you have like a kite or something, I would put your spare mute either right here to actually solidify this entirely. If you do have a kite that actually put their thing on this, I would put your remaining or your spare mute right here so it completely blocks off any chance of a mute jammer getting to you and revealing your location, or put it under the big window, which is just around that corner right there. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna sit in this corner right here. This will be reinforced off, and this is another place that you could put this mute jammer. You could put it, slide it right over here once again. But if you have a kite and a bandit, they should be able to get this wall, and then this wall over here, which are the three most important walls. So I would sit right on these chains right here and basically just kind of scout it out at the beginning of the round. You're just playing a mute role, just an anchor role. You're just seeing where people are spawning. Call it out to your team. Even if they don't respond, it'll at least make you feel productive. And then someone's going to be coming knocking at your door. If they don't, then you're going to have a pretty boring round. But if they do, it is highly likely that they're just going to jump in once they get peeved off with this mute jammer, or they'll nade it. So you're going to probably want an ADS somewhere up here with you as well, but that's out of your control. Even an ADS right here is ideal as well. That's out of your control. All you can do is ask your Jaeger, but we're just going to hug this wall, and then eventually someone is going to get impatient and we are going to blast them out of this world. Once again, another free kill spot. As the round progresses, you just gotta do what you feel like fits, and if they're pushing this way, this is a great door to be able to quick peek off of, so just go ahead and do that. And then if they get into the site for some reason, you have easy rotation all the way through the site. Now we're going to be covering service and kitchen. So the first drone spot, or the first jammer location, is going to be here. We're going to want to set it just so it hits these barrels, and then we're going to want to walk forward as far as we can. Set this down. That'll block anyone from shooting it from over here, from outside, and it'll block that off entirely. Next one we're going to do, we're going to want to come over here and put this right here. You guys will figure out soon. And then we are going to come over here, get on this side. Basically right where I just shot right there is where we're going to want to have a drone, just so it covers that drone hole while also covering the window. This is not going to be able to be shot from outside. Promise you on that one. You can test it for yourself. And then the final one, there's literally no reason to put it here, because if you put it here, it's going to get shot. If you put it here, it's going to get shot. Hands down, most useless thing you could do. The thing I do is do it based off of how I'm going to play. If I have a teammate playing right here, this one's really interchangeable. I could put my jammer right about here, so it's blocked off from this, and this will completely block that off. And then the only place the teammate can get droned from, if they have a deployable right here, is from this area, which is the area they're watching. So they'll be able to shoot that drone really quickly. This is blocked off, and this is blocked off. But if my teammate's not playing that and I don't really care, then I'm going to go play selfish over here and put up my reinforcements right here and just cover these far two ones. If they get the other one, it's not the end of the world, but I don't want them to get over here. I don't care if they get over here, but if they get over here, they could potentially be playing the hatch and completely ruin my strategy. if they come in right here and have a long angle from all the way upstairs down to me in this corner, which is a corner I like to play with whatever weapon I'm choosing, because this is a power position on this site, and this is where I recommend you guys playing. I would recommend you rotating from here and then using these rails. These rails right here are free kills, especially if you pull out the MP5 with the 1.5 times. It's like free as can be, so just keep that in mind. And this is a easy strategy, easy setup time, and you can play it however you like. Now heading on over to the new border rework, this is a strategy I've been implementing into my game recently. So we're going to start off just by starting with our main ones that we aren't really going to play off of, but they're pretty good to put them down first. If we put this down first, then basically no one's going to be able to drone right up the stairs and get into sight and be able to find what your setup is, and hopefully someone will be watching this so no one can just come up here and shoot the mute. The next one we are going to do, we are actually going to avoid putting one over here. The hopes is that you have a bandit or a Kaid to do this wall, because it's a wall that you're going to want to have tricked, because, well, they can't really just shoot through it anymore like they used to. So if a bandit's tricking it, it's way better than putting a mute jammer there. But if you must, you will have to do that. But I want to go over the spots that I would rather do. So this little area right here is a great place to put a mute jammer, because this is not a actual like permanent wall, so the mute jammer actually goes through and will disrupt things on this side of the door. So usually people like to slip their drone in and put it right here. It's actually going to disrupt that, so that's one I really like. And then this is the room that we're actually going to be playing, so we'll reinforce up all these, this one, this one, this one. In our two remaining mute jammers, one will go right here to try to cover this kind of half of the doorway, plus get this wall that we're on. So this mute jammer will cover this one. Then we're going to want to reinforce this as well. And we're actually going to use a mute jammer here. Even if we do have a bandit and a Kaid, this is a great place to put one, because if we put one right here, it's going to add that disrupting type sound to this side right here. So this side is going to be covered all the way to around here. With this mute jammer, it's only going to be covered basically like a dome like that. It'll be around here, plus this. Then we'll have our mute jammer on here, so if they get up to here, the mute jammer will also disrupt them. So the only place they could get through is if they perfectly jump kind of right through there, which it's possible, but we're going to go ahead and tuck ourselves up into here, and this is going to be kind of our anchoring position using the fountain to our advantage. Once again, it's one of those slow things. It's not just free kills coming at you like some of the other strats. But on this specific site, I cannot find a better strategy, and this is one that I love to run. I also found putting a little rotation hole right here is also good if you ever want to get back into sight. It's pretty good. You could just get right back in, and then this one should be reinforced so they can't get a long angle on you if you are going to do that, because you don't want someone to get a free angle from all the way in office, all the way through the entire site, all the way through lockers, etc. So this is the ideal setup for you. Obviously, all these other guys are going to be reinforced as well, like this one and these two. That really makes this setup actually viable. But playing in this corner, play off this fountain, use this fountain as a head glitch, and you're going to pick up some easy kills. The final setup I have for you guys is on the top of Kafe. So we are going to spawn up here, and this map is really bad for mute jammers, and you probably know that already. But I do want to give you one up here in case you always want to run mute, because I really do think that mute could be ran in every single map no matter what, because it's still useful, as you guys will see here. But we're going to start by putting a mute jammer right under this hatch here. We're going to want to put it anywhere basically from here down so they cannot see it, because the only window spot that they could get is these two tight corners, and this will not reach this mute jammer anytime they throw a drone over, as long as they don't jump over and into the bar, which is possible but unlikely. You should be able to catch a few drones here. The second one is you're going to want to come up from here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go as close to the wall as you can, and then set this thing down. It is going to cover a pretty good portion of this, right about to where I shot, because I was testing this right before. But that's going to cover it from being able to be seen from right at this angle right here. Whenever you jump down from the hatch, you would have to really get a tight angle, and maybe you could see it. No, you can't even see it then. So that is the perfect placement for that, all the way to around here, so they would have to slip a drone there, which they will not. Last two, we're gonna go right around to the white stairs, all the way over here and right here. Basically just look at this thing and then just set it down right in the middle of this blue guy. That's probably the best spot, because to shoot it you'd have to kind of get way up here, like all the way to here, which would just not be smart. So this is always good. And then last but not least, this is where I like to play. I like to play in this little corner right here. This has a lot of names to it. Some aren't very nice, but I'd pull out the MP5 here with the ACOG or the 1.5 times. And then this one is going to help you defend this area by putting a mute jammer right here, which will cover this window and this window from drones jumping through and into you without them being able to be shot. So I put this one there. We have the two covering, one covering this hallway here, then one covering the skylight here, and then we hold this area right here. In my opinion, this is the most powerful spot in the game right here. You could just pixel angle that. But that's it. That's all of the mute jammer placements I have today. Hopefully all the routers are set now. And let me know what you guys want to see next. If you want to see more setups for different operators. Next week I was thinking about doing smoke. Let me know what you think of that. I'll see you in the next one though.